Hello again. Now, either I'm getting old and my mind is less agile than once it was, which is by no means impossible, or some people are now using language in such an odd way that it's literally impossible for me to understand what they're trying to convey. I don't think that my vocabulary is particularly deficient, and yet I quite literally do not understand what people are saying sometimes. Take this passage from the report submitted to the All-Party Parliamentary Group for Race and Community by the umbrella group, the Wildlife and Countryside Link. This organisation represents 80 charities such as the RSPCA, National Trust and World Wildlife Fund. The claim is being advanced that the countryside in Britain is in some way institutionally racist. And this means that black people and those of South Asian heritage or Middle Eastern origin cannot go for a picnic in the country or walk through woodlands and fields. Here is what the report says about this. There are, it seems, structural, experiential and cultural barriers which prevent ethnic minorities from accessing the countryside. Now, the reason that I'm foxed by this is that I often walk in the countryside, both round here in Essex, also up in the Chilterns, down in Box Hill, South Wales, in fact, all over the place. I simply walk along lanes or bridleways, or across heathland or up mountains and down again, without encountering any barriers at all. There are no checkpoints, border posts, passport controls, fences, walls, or anything else which I have to negotiate in order to access the countryside. I just go there. I simply do not understand what is meant by a structural barrier, which is apparently stopping black people or other minorities from getting into the countryside. And what on earth is an experiential barrier? What could be meant by a cultural barrier? Perhaps it is me, but this just sounds like a lot of fancy words strung together with no real meaning at all. What about the idea that some racist colonial legacy frames nature in the UK as a white space? Or the suggestion that green spaces are dominated by white people, and this prevents ethnic minorities from using green spaces? Is any of this making sense to viewers? Perhaps it's just me. I have no idea at all why a Pakistani in Tower Hamlets or a black person in Hackney could not simply get a bus or tube here to Loughton and then walk off in the direction of Abridge or Lambourne End. I often do, and I also used to when I lived in Tottenham. What it all sounds like to me is that an awful lot of black people and those whose families are from the Indian subcontinent don't want to go to the countryside and see no point in just walking along country lanes or through forests, which is absolutely fine, of course, but it is absurd and monumentally stupid to talk of structural barriers which prevent them from doing so, or experiential barriers either. I'm guessing, by the way, that an experiential barrier is a way of saying that they're not in the habit of doing it or that they haven't done it before. That is to say, they haven't previously walked in the countryside. But you see, that's not really a barrier, is it? There are many things which I have chosen not to do, but that's also a choice. If I told people that there was an experiential barrier which prevented me from attending a pop concert, and that this was because I had never done so before, it would frankly sound a bit nuts. In the description to this video, I give a link to a piece about this extraordinary affair.